Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, April 17th, 2019. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. This is a big weekend for a lot of athletes because the stakes are always high when you've got people competing at high-level events. And trust me, nobody knows that better than our old buddy, Valantis Dokos right now. The Greek Freak is 5 days out from unleashing Dokos 3.0 on stage at the Nordic Pro-Am, where he and his team are hoping to write one of the final paragraphs on his amateur career. We've been following Dokos on the journey for the last few seasons now, and I can honestly say that he's never looked better. So hopefully this time around, the universe is on his side, because I know he'd love to put the final stamp on this whole thing and graduate on to the IFBB Pro League. Kai Green likes to say that thoughts become things, and I'm sure Maxx Charles wants nothing more for that to be true, given the fact that he's about to jump on the next phase of his 2019 program. A few days ago, Max announced that he was planning to launch into this Olympia prep next week, which is probably right on time considering that he's taken a step back over the last few weeks just to get himself in order. When he's on, Max is one of those guys who really has a high ceiling that I'm honestly not sure if he's ever reached yet. So hopefully he can keep the distractions to a minimum and just do what he needs to do to be his best, because at that point, the results will start to speak for themselves. Whenever athletes get injured, the biggest obstacle for them in the recovery process usually isn't physical, it's mental. It's just hard to trust your body again after you go through that kind of pain. But as far as I can tell, Ryan Terry seems like he's starting to get right again. This week, a new video leaked of the men's physique all-star knocking out a quick back workout as he tries to get back to full strength after a hip surgery that he had a few weeks ago. At this point, I think it's still early to tell whether or not he can do what he needs to do to compete this year. But at his age and this stage of his career, in time I'm sure he can get back to where he was. The important thing now is not to rush the process, because that's when people end up hurting themselves and getting into trouble. I love sitting on the beach and watching the big waves just roll in. It's a zen-like thing for me. But you don't need to be a bodybuilding fan on a beach to see that James Hollingshead is about to make some waves this weekend. James released one of his last pre-show photos a few days ago, where we see him showing off that trademark gritty conditioning that he's starting to become known for. So far, James has had a really good season, and he's definitely getting better every time he competes. So if he times everything right, a top 5 finish is entirely in the realm of possibilities. To quote the great American mogul, Jay-Z, this is high level, not eye level. But if you want to get on Juan Morel's level right now, you're going to have to go way, way, way up. On Monday, Juan released a crazy new update 5 days out from dropping in on the New York Pro with what might have been and may be his best level of conditioning he's ever had. Juan's been on a roll lately, so what I'm seeing doesn't come from completely out of left field, but it still means something for a guy of his level to keep pushing the limits and trying to improve. With so many guys in this year's lineup, I don't know if it's fair to call anyone a clear favorite, but the all-time best version of Juan Morel might be able to hit his peak that's too high for anyone else to reach. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.